Good morning, everybody.
Good morning
Today we're here to talk about the incredible powers of focus and
and commitment.
commitment for making your dreams come true. Last week we were talking about reinventing yourself,
Reinvent yourself.
and we
Yeah,
talked more about digging into this idea. You've got to choose one thing to focus on.
yeah.
You cannot reinvent yourself all across the board all the time,
No,
right?
you cannot.
So, got to choose one thing to focus on and commit to it. So
Yeah,
that's what we've been working on all week long, and we're excited to share with you. Good morning,
yeah,
Margaret. Thanks for being here right on
yeah.
time. Love that.
Yeah, reinvent yourself is more likely you really find out who you're really passionate about, what you're really about, and pursue that destiny, right? So, yeah. Thank you, Margaret, for being here so early in the morning.
And when you talk about focus and commitment, it can be for your biggest dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's what we've been talking about a lot this week.
Mm-hmm.
What is your biggest dream?
Yeah,
And then focus on that. Commit to it. Don't give up, no matter what the doubts, no matter what anybody says, no matter the setbacks, right?
yeah,
You keep going for that biggest
yeah,
dream. But I've been also practicing it in my day to day, not trying to do all the things, really, really minimizing my multitasking,
mm-hmm.
choosing one thing and sticking with it till it gets done.
And focus to it, yeah.
And it's interesting, as soon as you really start trying to do that, you become more and more aware of how many distractions come in all day long,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's from the outside or just my own brain thinks of like, oh yeah, I have to go pick something up at the dry cleaning, or
Yeah,
all
yeah,
these things that come
yeah.
up. So I keep a little notepad next to me. Every time a new thought comes up of something I need to do, I write it down
And then you leave it there.
and I leave it there. Instead
Yeah,
of going to go do that thing,
yeah, yeah,
I finish the task I'm on. I check it off. I get it done. And that's how you build a life of completion.
yeah. That's a very, very smart way to do it, because when you make the note and then you don't have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
You keep focusing what you're doing, because your focus it will take you to your goals, because your focus is like the light shining the right street where you need to be, all right? Because every time we take the focus what we're doing and focus it go to somewhere else, what we do, we start, decline in any progress we've been doing. And
Right?
sometimes even create the doubts in our mind that what we're doing is right. And then you take another half hour to 1 hour to try to say, hey, no, I'm doing right. All right. So it's good to be focused on what you're doing in the moment and just keep on going forward, forward, forward until you get the deadline. Right.
Especially in this world of over information.
Mm-hmm.
I subscribe to so many newsletters in my email, and
Mm-hmm.
they all have all this interesting information, and I could just like follow each of them
Yeah. Yeah.
no matter where they lead. And so it's a matter of deciding what course I'm on and giving it a period of time,
Yeah.
because it is good to change things up, but just not constantly. And so say, this is the project I'm going to work on until it's done.
Mm-hmm.
How will you know when it's done? It's a time period, right? Maybe it's 6 months or 8 months, 3 months, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
an hour. I'm going to give it a certain amount of time that I'm going to work on it,
Yeah.
or I'll know it's completed when I've published the book. And then
Yeah.
I'll move on to a different project.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to just like work on the book and then, I think I should also start a podcast, and, I think I should also start a
Yeah.
new workout thing, right?
Yeah. But I mean, if something very long, I mean, if you're writing a book, I mean, you can write a book in one day. What you're gonna do, you focus in whatever chapter you want to work on, but you put your 100% focus on that, and then you give okay, I'm gonna be working on this book for 1 hour or 2 hours. Okay, you put the alarm for 2 hours. That 2 hours, there's nothing else can be in between any with your writing. All right,
Yeah.
it has to be the book in 2 hours only. So when you do that, that is a focus you put into it. So you don't have to finish it, right?
Yeah.
Of course, to finish something, you have to have the commitment to
Yeah.
actually get there, right?
Things can take years.
Yeah, yeah.
right? And so you obviously can't just write a book. That's a great
Yeah.
example. Or build a business
Yeah.
every minute for 2 years. I mean, you've got children.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be like, oh, sorry, you're not my focus for these
Yeah,
years,
I know.
right? So you set aside that time.
Yeah.
And that's why being the master, and you can go back and watch all of our videos about time management, mastering your time management
Mm-hmm.
can be a big part of this. So you know what your time is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm studying for some big exams, and I set aside an hour in the morning. I wake up earlier and I set aside, that is my study time. I do nothing else during that time.
Yeah.
So I can conquer this phase of life and move on to something else.
Yeah, because we have to have a focus in whatever we do. Whatever it's not just things you have a passion to it, but anything you are doing on a daily basis, when you start doing something, get focused into do that particular, subject
That's
that
so
you work on.
true. I mean, even like Thich Nhat Hanh talked about washing the dishes with
Mhm.
intention and attention,
Yeah.
And really like just being where you are.
Mhm.
It will help you stay grounded.
Yeah.
It will help you feel less stressed. And that in and of itself will help you to be more successful in anything you're trying to pursue.
True.
But, so there's this bringing mindfulness to everything you do.
Mhm.
And there's also being really intentional about how you're choosing to use your time.
Yeah.
I sometimes feel like I don't have enough time. But then I think about and I look at people that I've known who seem to do so much more in a day than I have, right?
Yeah.
And I know that it's possible if you choose to structure your day and to be focused.
Yeah.
You can work out and have a job and have kids and cook dinner and be on a board of a nonprofit.
Yeah.
I've seen people do it, a few
Yeah.
boards of nonprofits.
I know,
I've
right?
seen people do it. And so I know it's possible if I
Yeah.
focus on the right things.
Everything is possible when you put your mind to it. When
Yeah.
you put a focus into the subject you work on.
One of my teachers talked about focus and commitment like the tip of a spear.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you don't want to use a big blunt object to try and achieve your goals.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that tip of a spear, thinking about what is the very point, what is the one thing that I could do that would really move this forward.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I know you guys know I love my to-do list, and oftentimes I'll find there's one task on my to-do list that keeps moving to tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then the next day, and then the next day. I have one, for example, which is like, maximize my use of our healthcare plan. And it's just too big and broad to ever get done. How do you do that?
Yeah.
And so narrowing the focus, right?
Yeah.
Make an appointment for a vision screening. That's a very narrow focus. That's a thing you can check off.
Yeah.
And so if you find yourself struggling to move forward, see how narrow you can narrow your focus and pick one thing that you can check off, that you can get done in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the kind of person that I have to do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
I can focus on many things. Of course, if I do that, I don't do nothing. So that's why, I mean, for a very, very long time, I've been always, when I get something to get done, I focus on that thing. I don't do nothing else until it's done. But sometimes it takes me longer as well. But I get it done.
Mm-hmm.
I get it done because I focus on that thing. So now, we live in the era that we have notification for here, notifications for that, especially on your phone. What I do, like today, I turn off all my notifications. I have some notifications, I turn it off. I usually, when I start working, I put my phone in the bedroom and only check every hour. I just go ahead and check it. But that's what I do to I can focus, because I know that the notifications or people send a message and all that, it will distract you. And if you get distracted, especially on the phone, okay, you work and you have your phone next to you, and then somebody send you one message, okay, So now you're gonna go and check the message, and now the next thing you know, you are checking all the messages.
Or you call that person back and
Well,
they ask you if you know,
yeah,
do you have something that I could borrow? And then you're out in the garage
yeah,
looking for
yeah,
something,
yeah,
right? And so the greats, right? I don't know if you guys know that I used to be a productivity and organization and productivity consultant.
mm-hmm.
And so the greats, people who are truly great, they set aside a period of time
Yeah,
for checking messages and returning phone calls. And
yeah,
it could be 3 times a day,
yeah,
right? Or twice a day or once a day. And you also want to train people around you
yeah,
to expect that you will call them back later that afternoon.
yeah, yeah,
And then I also have done good work on setting my phone's do not disturb
mm-hmm.
so that I can get calls from my daughter's school, her after school program, you,
Mm-hmm.
and my son, right? Those 4 people, they can get through because that's truly crucial.
Yeah,
But nobody else can get through to me at those times because nobody
yeah,
else is an emergency, right?
yeah,
They can all wait for a call back. But also let's zoom back out. There's day to day.
mm-hmm.
How do you focus in the moment to moment? But there's also like, how do you focus on those long-term things? You got to pick
yeah,
dream, plan, do.
yeah,
You know, you start by envisioning your unique, awesome, perfect, not perfect, your unique, awesome life, right? What would it look like? And there are so many facets to it.
yeah,
Right? Your spiritual life, your physical body, your relationships, your parenting, your finances, your
yeah,
career. And you want to develop all of those simultaneously,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
But you have to hold one thing in your mind that's going to be the first thing. Gary Keller in the book The One Thing says, what is the one thing that by completing it or accomplishing it would make everything else easier or unnecessary? Right?
yeah. That's powerful.
Right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
what could you do? What's the one project you can complete that would make everything else easier or unnecessary? And so that's why I always come back to focusing on my physical health,
mm-hmm.
Optimizing my energy levels so that it makes everything else easier. Not unnecessary,
Yeah.
right? I still have to go to work, but it makes going to work easier. It makes parenting easier. It makes my relationship with Toby easier
Yeah.
because I'm in a good mood and I have more energy.
I mean, that's a real the definition of awesome life, right? When you're talking about having an awesome life, some people interpret having an awesome life is just, having the best house, the best car, the best, the everything. But actually, awesome life has nothing to do with those stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome life does really has to do with your mind, soul, and spirit, and body. So that is the definition of awesome life. When all this 14 is in synchronizing in the harmony, all right? They're all equal. None of them is more than the other. Of course, every time you have if you exercise in more in your body more than you exercise in your mind, that is a problem. All right. If anything you do more than the other, that's just you. But if you,
It's so funny because we're talking about focus,
Yeah.
but we keep coming back to balance as well.
yeah, balance as well, because it's very important for you balance and have a focus on that balance in life.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's very important because the true like the guys, the people that the inventors, that all the genius people that we trust, that we believe, that we saw in many books for many years, all their superpower was two things: focus and commitment.
Yeah.
They they had a dream. They believe they can make that dream a reality. They focus on that dream, and they make a commitment to make it happen. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if Thomas Edison didn't had the dream that one day to have like electricity, all right, yeah, so he will never take the time of his life to focus on make that happen. He did a thousand light bulbs to make one to go right,
Make
all
it
right.
work. Yeah.
But he had a commitment to that purpose. Say, I'm gonna make my dream reality. I'm gonna make that happen.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Absolutely.
He had a commitment for it. That's why now everybody has a light. Right?
Yeah, that's a
I
great
mean,
example.
that our dream is real. Okay, nothing that come in your mind, you shouldn't let that go. You have to think about what you think, why you think about it, what you think in your dreams, why you dreaming about that, and make the if it's something that can be very powerful, you take that to reality, because it's not just a dream. It's something that you need to work on. Take that to reality. Focus on that dream. See every step of the way what you need to do to make that dream to reality, and make commitment to make that happen. Because all the inventions created it start with a dream.
An inventor is a great example because there's so many setbacks and
Mm-hmm.
so many failures,
Mm-hmm.
right? That you have to stick with it and stick with it. But I think another great example in our life, and probably for a lot of people here as well who may not be inventors
Mm-hmm.
necessarily, but we've been, happily married now
Yeah.
for 23 years. And I think that takes an amazing amount of focus and commitment.
Yeah.
I would say that's the secret to a happy marriage,
Yeah.
as well as to any success in any other area. Yeah. Because if you spend your life wondering if you're with the right person and thinking about maybe I should go do something else, go be with someone else, maybe this isn't working.
Yeah.
Right? You put your energy on that distraction,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Then your marriage is going to fall apart.
Yeah.
Pure and
Yeah.
simple, because
Yeah.
it's hard. It's just like inventing. There's so many setbacks.
I know.
Every day there's a reason to, doubt.
Yeah.
But when you put your focus on how can I make this work? How can we make this better? How can we love each other more? And even if the other person isn't interested in it, right?
Yeah.
If you single-handedly say, this is the person I chose, I'm going to dedicate myself to making this marriage work.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming we're not talking about an abusive relationship, right?
I know, right?
But if you're in a healthy relationship and you just say, I'm going to make it work, I'm going to focus on this, guess what? It makes everything better.
Yeah.
Right? And it becomes easier and easier, just like learning to do a sport or any other habit, right? When you focus on it and you commit to it, there's no chance that we're separating.
Yeah. I mean, on the marriage is really three things. On the marriage is your focus, in your marriage, is a communication, and is the commitment for life that you make. Because you can make a commitment in life, and then unfriend all your friends and family, and God, and then you decide, oh, you know what, I changed my mind, or
some people
it's not gonna work out. Some people does.
No judgment on that, but in order to have a long and happy marriage, it takes a commitment.
Well, I think most of the people that get divorced because they lost the lack of communication.
Mm.
They lost the lack of communication, and they took their focus out of the relationship.
That's what I want to stick with.
They put focus somewhere else. Because I mean, you can tell. I mean, the world is really a mess right now. With so much, electronics, so much things, so much, really like you have to have your focus in what you do and what you have, and where you want to be. Yeah, it's very important for that.
I do want to roll out the Reinvent Yourself challenge in the last few minutes here. But before we do that, I also want to talk about like the benefit of focus too is less mental noise, less chatter, and less self-doubt. When you fail at something, you don't go on and on, maybe this isn't the right thing, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, maybe I should try something else. Right? Because that gets exhausting to hear yourself thinking like that all the time. And so when you're committed and focused and you have a failure, you're like, okay, that didn't work. What lesson can I learn from this? Our friend Patrick's breakthrough formula, you can trace it back to like, where's the place that I made a decision that I could make a different trial. Right? And so you use it as a learning, you use it to move forward. Rather than all this wasted time and energy on self-doubt and
Yeah,
starting over with something.
because there's no really a failure. That's just a learning curve.
Mm.
Yeah, you can just go back a little bit and see where you start to taking your focus out of them what you were, where you were, and put somewhere else. And usually that's how you kind of miss the stuff, right?
One strategy, a couple strategies I want to talk about. For some of us, the goal is so clear, that big long-term goal, the big picture. But if it's not clear for you and it's a little ambiguous and there's a lot, I really, really recommend sitting down and writing it down. Tovi and I actually in 2020 went through a program called Lifebook, which I believe was life-changing. If you have the opportunity to take that through Mind Valley, we found it incredibly valuable to do it. We did it together, which was great, but you can do it on your own to really crystallize what is your vision. But even if you don't, another activity I did, I sat down and I thought, where do I want my life to be in 50 years? Right? And at that point, it's just like, what do I want it to be like around me? And then 20 years, and then 10 years, and then 5 years from now. So you can see the trajectory. So you know that what you're doing this year, this month, you don't have to see as much, it's incremental growth.
Yeah.
You know how like when you haven't seen someone's kids for a long time and then you see them and you're like, oh my God, they've grown so much.
Yeah.
It's that way with our own lives as well. And so when you know the big picture, you can work it back so that today's tasks feel meaningful in that context.
Yeah. Because if you can see yourself 5 years from now, where you want to be, what you want to do, it makes so much easier for you focus on every direction that would take you to that path, right? All right. If you're 5 years from now, you say I want to go travel around the world, your focus right now is going to be about preparing for that, having the money wise to do so, and preparing, checking the all the which flights will have the best tour, you will start looking about which hotel, or if you want to be on an hotel or you want to be camping, I don't know, all the choices you might have, because there's so many choices right there, right?
But you got to have the picture, the vision of what it is you want to do, and then pull it all together, whether it's for a trip or a marriage or a career or a physical, transformation, anything.
Really anything.
So I do want to roll out, we have 5 more minutes here. I do want to roll out our Reinvent Yourself challenge. This is for anybody, whether you're in the VIP or you're not in the VIP. However, you will want to make sure that you're in our Facebook group, Awesome Life 101 Facebook group. Just request membership there. That's free group. And it's all about focus and commitment, picking one thing. And it's going to start next Sunday. And here's why. Next Sunday, the time zone is going to change, right?
Yeah.
Not the time zone, but the time is going to change. We're going to fall back an hour. So the clocks are going to turn back when it says 5 a.m. Our body's going to think it's 6 a.m. Right? So what a great opportunity to have an extra hour in your life, right? To really use that. What a great opportunity to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
And for me, this is going to be one of my new favorite holidays starting this year. Time goes back. I choose a new project to really focus on. Yeah. And so you have one more week to choose your topic, choose your area of focus. And we're going to go into the Facebook group and comment my area of focus. The way I'm going to reinvent myself is, right? And pick one thing that you can really focus on, a thing that is tangible, and you can say, yes, I did it. Yeah. So not like something like, I'm going to be more calm. I'm going to feel more grounded.
Yeah.
That's not an action. So I'm going to repeat my affirmations 20 times a day, or I'm going to stop drinking caffeine, or I'm going to
exercise,
apply to 3 jobs a week, or I'm going to exercise 3 times a week. Whatever it is, it's one concrete action that you're going to do on a daily basis. And you're going to report back to the group how it's going. And you're going to see some radical transformation in yourself once you focus on one thing and you commit to it, and nothing can shake it. And what's really cool is having a community of other people who are doing that as well,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
are motivating and inspiring
Inspiring
you
you.
and cheering you on. And sometimes on Facebook, people don't always like and comment as much as you think they should, but just know people are watching. Toby and I are always shocked by the comments that our friends and family make. We're like, oh, you were watching? Oh,
Yeah.
you saw that?
Yeah.
Because we don't always get the feedback on
Yeah.
Facebook.
I mean, we just think usually as a human nature, every January we start. People go to the gym, start working out, and all that, and then January, February, to March, everybody, some of them just stop.
Yeah.
Okay, but the thing is like, if you have the idea to start working out in January, you know what? Start it now. Start next
Yeah.
week when the time is changing. So use that time. Use that time that your body already get used to get up at 6 but ashes of 5. Use that time to start working out. Just now. Start it
To
now.
read an extra book.
So or reason
To work on writing
yeah,
your book.
I know, right? So by the time you get to January, you actually have all the power, because now you have the commitment.
Yeah, you have the
Right.
momentum
You have
behind
the
you.
momentum behind you. And you already you have the time to work out. That you just created. All right.
On that note, you don't have to wait till next Sunday either. I've
Mhm.
already started my project and started practicing and
Mhm.
warming up for it, doing the research,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to stop caffeine, which I'm quite nervous about. And I haven't quit caffeine yet, but
Yeah.
I've been working in that direction and reading about it. I've been hydrating more, taking my vitamins more, so that I'm going to be ready on that Sunday morning to drink no more caffeine. I'll be so close by the time next Sunday comes.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and start warming up this week, but really figure out what it is that you're actually going to commit to.
Yeah.
Let us know in the Facebook group. We hope you'll all be in there.
And remember, if your commitment is to stop one habit, remember always the only way to stop one habit, you have to replace with something else.
Oh yeah, I'm drinking a lot of
you will have to
decaf tea.
replace with something else. Otherwise, it will not work. I've been there, I've done that, and I can tell you exactly the only way to replace one habit, you have to replace it with something else.
And you have to shift your mindset. You have to get away from like it feeling like you're giving up something and more like you're embracing something else.
Yeah.
I'm embracing my own natural energy that I'm generating inside my own body without the use of a chemical stimulant.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, speaking of the VIP, we are going to jump over to the VIP Zoom room and communicate with some of our favorite VIP members. And if you're interested in joining the VIP, just send us a message and we'll get you set up.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
And don't remember that a Dream Plan Do is available, okay, on Amazon and Scrindle.
Scrindle.
Yeah. And the Scrindle actually you have a Dream Plan Do, an audiobook. Unfortunately, I didn't upload the audiobook into Amazon yet. But it's going to be very soon. All right.
Yeah, if you're interested in more of this idea of commitment, focus, making your dreams come true, Dream Plan Do, it's such a fast and easy read. It can really help catch you up to where we're at right now.
Yeah.
I think it's less than 30 minutes audiobook.
Audiobook, 32 minutes.
So you can just listen to it and really feel yourself moving forward quickly.
And it's really a great guide. It's the same guide that I use to be where I am right now. It's the same guide to where we are right now. It's a perfect guide to start. Of course, personal development. It has endless information about personal development. For you will have to do it on the rest of your life. But for you to start getting your dream into plans and make it a reality, that book is a good guiding to start. So if you don't get that book yet, please go ahead. You can go on Amazon.
I'm going to drop some links right now.
Okay, we can drop the links as well for the audiobook.
Try to find this event and drop them right in there.
And it's going to be awesome, guys. We're here to support you, to help you to have your vision in a reality. Of course, remember, dream is not just a dream. All right. If it wasn't just a dream, we will never have the lights today. All right. I will see you guys on the other side.
Love ya. Bye.
Bye bye.